Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly Carr and I am the social media manager for the Winter Park Fraser Chamber. Today I'm going to take you through the Community Brand Toolkit. Late last year, the community launched an all-encompassing brand. This initiative allows all chamber business members to use the community brand logo as a destination qualifier in their marketing materials. So what we're going to cover today, we're going to go over where you're going to find the toolkit. We'll take a look at the terms and conditions so what you can and cannot use the logo on. We'll go over what's in the toolkit. We'll take an in-depth look at the brand guidelines. I'll show you where you can find some ad inspiration. And finally, I'll take you through how to build an ad in Photoshop. The first thing that we're going to cover is where to find the Community Brand Toolkit. The link to your toolkit is located in your member dashboard. So how do you get to your member dashboard? Well, you're in luck because I'm going to show you. I want everyone to head over to the Winter Park Fraser Chamber website at playwinterpark.com. Once on the homepage of the site, there are two ways that you can get to your member dashboard. The first way is to hover over Live Here and to click on Chamber Membership. Once you click on Chamber Membership, you're going to scroll down, and on the left-hand side here, you'll see a box that says Login to your dashboard. That is the first way to find your member dashboard. So now for the second way. We're going to head back to the homepage, and we're going to scroll all the way to the very bottom of the page. You're going to click on the link that says Membership. It's going to take you to exactly the same page we were at before. You're going to scroll down and you'll see that box in the upper left that says Log into your dashboard. Go ahead and click on it. Welcome to your member dashboard login screen. Go ahead and enter your email and password. And if you don't remember your login credentials, feel free to contact Maria and she can help you out. Once you have these two items entered, go ahead and click Sign In. Once you're signed in to your dashboard, you'll be greeted with a welcome message and a little red toolbox. Go ahead and click on that toolbox. Congratulations, you've made it to your Brand Toolkit request form. Now, by filling out this form, you're agreeing to use the community brand logos and badges as listed on the license agreement. Note, if you have more than one member business, you're going to need to fill out this form for each member business. So before we fill out this form, I want to cover a specific section of the license agreement so you know what your business is agreeing to. So I'm going to click right down here on License Agreement, and that'll just open in a new window. In letter I here, this is just saying that you must be a member business of the Chamber in good standing located in Winter Park, Fraser, Tabernash, or Granby, Colorado. It also says that you can reproduce the marks on your website, brochures, signage, mail, and email advertising, social media, and any other media channels. So what's not included in this list? Retail goods, which we'll cover in just a second. The second part here is that you are agreeing to use the logo in accordance with the brand guidelines. Next, you can reproduce the marks on swag items that are not for sale if they are ordered through the chamber and approved. Now, if you would like to sell the items with the logo on it through your business, you can order items through Winter Park Resort. Note, you cannot reproduce the mark on anything you intend to sell. You can only reproduce it on promotional materials, including your website, brochures, signage, mail and email advertising, social media, and any other digital media channels. Finally, at the very bottom here, you cannot use the marks in connection with any cannabis-related good or service. Now, I encourage you to read the rest of the license agreement in detail when you have a chance, but I just wanted to cover this section so you have an idea of what it entails. When you're ready, go ahead and fill out the BrandToolkit request form. Check that you are agreeing to the license agreement and click Submit. Congratulations, you have just gained access to your Community Brand Toolkit. Now that you have access to your toolkit, let's take a look at what's included. So the first thing that we have here is the community message. Do you wish you could enjoy a great mountain experience without the hassle and attitude? This is the destination for you. Easy to get to and even easier to love. Winter Park offers miles of Rocky Mountain adventure wrapped in a warm Colorado hello. Ask a friendly local for their favorite trails, scenic spots, or restaurants, and one thing is for sure, your first visit will not be your last. Once you've found Winter Park, you've found your place in the Rockies. This is the message and the voice that we're encouraging all businesses to speak with when they talk about Winter Park. So the next section here is our brand pillars. These 5 things are the foundation of who we are and what we stand for. This is how you can define us. So we are as easy to get to as we are to love. Warm Colorado welcomes make everyone feel like a local. Vast world-class mountain adventures all year long. There's a local favorite for everything you need. Live the life you love in Winter Park. And after that, we have our tagline. Winter Park is a place where you get all the altitude without the attitude. A place to enjoy pure Colorado fun in its most authentic state, because Winter Park is the best of Colorado, unfiltered. Winter Park, Colorado, unfiltered. These 3 pieces of the Community Brand Toolkit, the message, the brand pillars, and the tagline, should give you an idea of the tone with which you can speak to the market. Use these things as starting points for your content. So, for example, when you think about brand pillar number 2, warm Colorado welcomes make everyone feel like a local, what does that mean to your business? And how can you talk about that or refer to that in what you do? And don't overthink it too much. You are a local, and you probably make visitors feel like locals all the time. But how can you talk about this more in your marketing messaging? All right, on to the next section. In the next section, you're going to find a link to the brand guidelines. It's at the very bottom of this section, and it just says click here to view and download the brand guidelines. So I'm going to have you click on that link. So this is a very detailed document on how to use the logos and badges. So on the first page in the document, it's just going to be a reminder of the brand mark usage. So what you can and cannot do with the logos. So just remember that the logo is going to be used as a complementary destination qualifier. It may not be used as your primary business logo, and you can't use it on any items that are for sale. So on the next page here, we're going to go over our brand. So when we think about Winter Park, we think about how it's the front porch of the Rockies. So that's our brand essence. So what does that mean? So like a front porch, we're authentic and we're friendly and we're warm and welcoming. We're everything that you would experience on a front porch when you're visiting with friends. Yet on the other side, we have access to all of these heart-pumping adventures in the Rocky Mountains. So because we're in the Rockies, we are the front porch of the Rockies. On the next page here, we have our brand pyramid. And this slide shows how we got to our essence of the front porch of the Rockies. So at the foundation here, we have our features. So these are things that no one can take away from us. These are facts. We're 50 miles from Denver. We have world-class downhill skiing and cross-country skiing. We're a gateway to Rocky Mountain National Park. On the next level, we have our functional benefits. So what do we do for people? So we have something for every mountain lover. We're surrounded by natural beauty. Next, we have our emotional benefits, so how people feel. So we make people feel at ease and at home, and we inspire people to go explore. After that, it's our values. So what do we value? We really value that power of place and nature and a healthy and active lifestyle. And then we have our personality. So we are happy, we're genuine, we're a welcoming neighbor. And finally, at the very top, that single thought that captures the heart of Winter Park and sets us apart is that we are the front porch of the Rockies. The next two slides here cover our messaging platform. So if you scroll down to the second one, you'll see not only our brand essence, our messaging that we went over earlier, and also our 5 brand pillars. Live the life you love in Winter Park speaks to people who come and visit Winter Park and decide to purchase a second home here. After that, we get into the voice of our brand. So under this new community brand, we really want to speak with one voice. We don't want to necessarily be using the exact same words, but we want the tone of our content to be inspiring and welcoming. It should be conversational and totally authentic. So we want to think of it as if Winter Park is the voice for every perfect mountain moment of pure Rocky Mountain living. So, and our language should not feel elitist or cheesy or salesy. We want to come across as a warm invitation, and we want to invite people to experience Colorado unfiltered. On the next slide here is our brand personality. So this slide is really useful because it tells you what Winter Park is and what Winter Park is not. So on one side, what are we? So we're welcoming to all. We're energized by real mountain lifestyle. We're confident about our unique lovability. We're genuine. We're committed to nature. We're masters of all things mountain. We're ready to share what we love, and we are happy to be here. And we are happy to have our visitors come and visit us. So what we're not, we are not quiet or reserved. We're not complacent about our surroundings. We're not content to be a secret. We are not pushy or cheesy. We're not preachy. We're not judgy or intimidating. We're not NIMBY. And we're not like all the rest. We're different. After that, we get into our tagline again. So, our tagline is Winter Park, Colorado, Unfiltered. Next, talk a little bit about how they came up with the new logo. So they really wanted to hold on to that iconic shield of Winter Park Resort, but play with what the inside looked like. They were looking for a unified identity that could be leveraged by the entire community, including town, the resort, and participating businesses. So what happened was they kept that shield and then they deconstructed the WP that was in the inside. So you can kind of see how that happened in all of these versions. And what they came up with was an iconic shield where the inside loosely resembles Perry Peak. So when we look at the logo versions, we have 2 pieces to the logo. We have the logo mark, which is the shield, and then we have the logo type. And the next version is going to show you what that primary logo looks like. So the logo type, and then we have the logo mark. You could also use it with the tagline. The tagline's always going to sit between the P and the K underneath the logo type. After this, we go over the different versions of the logo and how the logo lockup can be used. So we have the primary version here. We have a horizontal version that you can use. And then we also have a stacked version. This slide is really valuable because it shows you the PMS color for the blue, CMYK, RGB, and hex color. So you'll use these different colors for different applications of the logo. The secondary color version. So the blue is going to be used primarily for the community, but you are free to use the red version as well. You can also use the tag, just Colorado, underneath the logo type. Again, that's going to sit between the P and the K in the logo. Or you can use Colorado Unfiltered. Or you don't even have to use a tagline. Here's what the logo looks like when it's vertical and stacked. And here's what it looks like when it's horizontal. The next section covers the colors of the logo. So we have black, cool gray, so it's not a white, it's a cool gray, the red, and the blue. And these are all the detailed colors that you need to know at the bottom. On the next page here, we have those logo lockups. So we have our primary, we have our stacked version, and we have our horizontal version. And then if you ever need to use the logo in black and white, this is what it would look like. This slide covers background colors. And here the logo is used on a blue background. When we talk about sizing, we have a few rules. So this is going to be the minimum size of the logo that we're going to want to use. It's still legible, but we don't want to go any smaller than this. Now when using the logo, you want to make sure there's going to be clear space around the logo so it can breathe. The way they do this is just to make sure you have about a W's worth of space in each of the corners. This slide is an example of that. So if the Winter Park logo needed to be next to the Spider logo, you're going to have a W's worth of space. Next slide here shows the logo with the tagline here. In this example, where the logo gets pretty small, we can pull out that Colorado Unfiltered so you can read it. And again, right here. Tagline rules, we're going to keep that Colorado Unfiltered and Colorado between the P and the K when the logo is big enough. When the logo is in its smallest application, we're going to break that tagline out of the P and the K so we can read it. Okay, now on to the do's and don'ts. So over here, we want to make sure that we keep the logo in its original proportions. So we don't want to stretch it or compress it when resizing it. Next, we want to make sure that we stick to the specified colors in the brand guidelines. So don't ever change the colors of any aspect of the mark to match your favorite football team. Down here, we want to make sure that you have the correct file for the application that you're going to use it in. So make sure to pull the right file so it's not blurry or distorted. And finally, we don't want to put any container around the logo. So don't put a circle or a square or an oval or anything around it to hold it. On the next slide here, We want to make sure that we keep that tagline between the P and the K, so don't pull it out if this primary logo is big enough to house it underneath. Now when the logo is smaller, we can pull it outside, but remember, you're never going to use it without the logo type. So you'll never use the logo mark with just the tagline. This slide just covers brand mark usage again. And now we're going to go into a couple do's and don'ts of how to use the logo. So going back to using the logo as a destination qualifier and not as your primary business logo. So let's say this company was called Winter Park Landscaping and they thought they would be clever and use this logo as their main business logo. You cannot do that. That is something that you cannot do and you will be called out for. So over here we have Acme Supplies and they have their primary logo up top, their messaging in the middle, and then their destination qualifier logo, the community logo, in the lower left-hand corner of their ad. So they're not going to do this. They're not going to put that logo up top because it looks like their business logo and their business logo in the corner. That's small and secondary. So they cannot do this. This is not acceptable. Down here at the bottom, we have two examples. Acme has their logo up top and their destination qualifier logo in the bottom. They're not going to use the community logo as their primary logo and just leave their business name really small. That's not acceptable. We don't want to do that. When we talk about the tagline, we want to make sure that the tagline always refers to Winter Park. So it can be used in the situation Devil Sun Ranch, a getaway in Winter Park, Colorado, unfiltered. But it cannot be used when we're not referencing Winter Park, Colorado. So the destination of choice for Rocky Mountain Living, Rendezvous, Colorado, Colorado Unfiltered. So again, we just want to make sure that Colorado Unfiltered tagline is referencing Winter Park. And the last part of this document is going to show you how you can use the badge. So we asked the agency to come up with a badge that looks like a sticker or a stamp that you can put on your ad. So it's really easy to use because it's a circle and you're just always going to keep it proportionate. And there are a ton of different varieties. So we have a red one, we have a blue version, and then we have a black version as well. Here is an example of how the badge can be used. So this is a mock-up for a Devil Sun Ranch ad, and then we have that badge in the corner that is that destination qualifier that just adds that something to the ad to tell people where Devil Sun Ranch is. All right, now that wraps up this document. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out to Maria. All right, well that covers the brand guidelines. We're gonna hop back over to your community brand toolkit and see what else is included. So if we scroll down after the brand guidelines, we see the new logo and variations. So this is just gonna be a summary of what we went over in the brand guidelines on how they got to that new logo. Down here at the bottom is a link to the Colorado Unfiltered font that is licensed. So if you'd like to purchase that font, there's just a link to do that. If we scroll down a little more, we're gonna see add templates and inspiration. So this section is really cool. You're gonna have two links to download some inspirational templates for print ads and for digital banner ads. So if you are looking for some ideas on how you can use the badges in your advertising, download these and take a look at them. Finally, at the bottom here, we have the logo downloads. So these are all the different logo versions that you have access to and you can download. So how do you download them? All you need to do is go to this final column on the far right here and just click, and you're going to be given access to a Dropbox folder, and you can just download whatever badge you need. All right, well that wraps up our community brand toolkit. So the next thing that I want to do, now that we've covered everything that's included, I'd like to take you through how to build an ad using this blue badge that I just downloaded. Okay, so what I want to do is build a vertical digital banner ad that's 160 pixels wide and 600 pixels tall. So I have this here in Photoshop. The first thing I'm going to do is resize the image that I want to use as a background in this ad. So I'm going to go to File, Open, Desktop, Community Training Kit, and this is going to be the image that I want to use. So this is the image I want to use. I'm really excited about it. It does a good job telling the story of my photography company. So I need to resize this. So what I'm going to do is go up to Image, Image Size, click on that. And right now I see it's about 2048 by 2048 with a resolution of 240 pixels per inch. So the first thing I'm going to do is switch this to 72 pixels per inch because that's what you're going to want when you design for web. Then I'm going to resize this so it's 600 and a height of 600. And I'm just going to click OK. And the image is going to be resized to be a little bit smaller, but now my height is 600 pixels. So I just have to crop my width of 160. So I am going to go over to my rectangular marquee tool over here. And I am not going to feather the corners at all. I want them to be sharp. And the crop that I want it to be a fixed size. I don't want it to be normal or fixed ratio. I want it to be a fixed size. And I want it to be a fixed size of 160 by 600. So when I take my tool onto my image and I just click, that box pops up. And now I can move it to wherever I want. So this would be what my image is. And I don't think that's very engaging, but I really want Perry Peak in here. I want town in here. So I really like how that looks. Then I just go up to image again and click crop. And this is going to be the image that sits in the background of my ad. So I'm going to save this. So I'm going to go to File, Save As. And I'm going to save it in that Community Brand Toolkit folder, my image, and I'm just going to say 160 by 600 and click Save. And the image quality at 8 is good, and I'll just say OK. And now that image is saved. So I'm going to go back over to my banner ad, and I'm going to place that image in this ad now. So I just go up to File, and I'm going to go to Place Embedded because I want to embed that image in my file. And I see that image right here, Kimberly Co. Photography Image 160 by 600. I'm going to place that image, and it drops right in. I'm going to click Enter, and it'll lock in place. So this is going to be the background of my digital banner ad. So the next thing I need to add is my logo. So in the same fashion, I'm going to go to File, Place Embed, and then I'm going to go to my photography logo. So this is white, so that's why it's not showing up right now, but when I place it, it's going to place right in the center. So this is a little wide, and I'm going to resize this, and it's going to be proportionate if I drag that corner in, click Enter. I'm just going to move that a little bit so it pops a little more if the clouds are darker in the back. So I want to add a message to this ad about how my photography speaks to the valley and the mountains that we have here. So I'm going to go over to my type tool, and I'm going to make a text box in my ad, and that's just going to fill with font, but I don't want it to say that. I'm going to say, take the mountains home with you, period. And I'm going to resize this and move it a little bit. So it's just at a darker part of my image, so it'll pop a little bit more. So I think that looks good. So I have my logo, I have my message, take the mountains home with you, and now I need a button, a call to action. So File, Place Embedded, and I have a Shop Now button here that I created, and I'm going to click Place, and that's just going to go right here on my digital banner ad. I'm going to press Enter to lock that in place. All right, and the last thing I want to do is add that blue badge that I just downloaded. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embedded, and this time I'm going to go to my downloads, and that blue badge is right here. Drop it in. I'm going to resize it. It's proportionate. It still looks like a circle, which is good. Put it in the corner. I'm going to tilt it a little bit because I like that look. Press Enter to lock it. And my ad, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So what I do now is go to File, Export, Save for Web, and just take one last look at my ad. I'm going to save it as a PNG. That image size is still what I want it to be, 160 by 600. Click Save, and I'm going to put that in my Community Brand Toolkit folder. I'm just going to call it Banner Ad, and I'm going to actually add 160 by 600 to the bottom so I know what size it is, and click Save. And that is saved and ready to be used in my marketing efforts. Well, that concludes our Community Brand Toolkit training. So let's go over what we learned today. So we learned where to find your toolkit. So just head to dashboard.playwinterpark.com/login or go to playwinterpark.com and find the membership page. We went over the terms and conditions, so what you can and cannot use the logo for. We took a look at what's in the toolkit. We dove into the brand guidelines. You know where to get ad inspiration. And we just went over how to build an ad. Just remember, by adding the community brand logo to your print or digital ads, you're taking advantage of all the advertising dollars that are spent promoting not only the community, but the resort and the Icon Pass. The Winter Park logo is on millions of dollars of paid and unpaid advertising. If you're a small shop in Winter Park and you want to invest in an ad in Ski Magazine, chances are that readers don't know off the top of their head where you're located. But if you put the community brand logo at the corner of your ad, and an Icon Pass holder might just put two and two together and come to your shop because they've seen that Winter Park logo on all the Icon advertising and they've seen it on your ad. So again, thank you guys so much for participating in this training. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Maria. We hope you are as excited as we are to use these community brand assets in your marketing materials. Have a great one.